Now, once again, Raymond Arroyo.
Welcome back to The World Over Live. We often take our independence for granted. How often do we think about the act of getting up and walking across a room? For many throughout the world, that simple act is impossible. My next guest is dedicated to improving the lives of physically disabled children and adults all over the globe. Chris Lewis is the president of the American Wheelchair Mission, and as I discovered, he was inspired to pursue this mission by his father, Jerry Lewis, and his incredible work with the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Here's my conversation with Chris Lewis. Chris, where did the inspiration for the American Wheelchair Mission come from? Where did it derive?
Well, it wasn't actually mine. It was by a wealthy real estate investor who had the idea of starting a wheelchair delivery mission back in the year 2000. And I received a phone call, having known this person through the Muscular Dystrophy Association, and asked me if I would help him start it. So we started that foundation and ran it for 9 years and delivered about 750,000 wheelchairs to 150 countries.
Unbelievable. Give me a sense of how great a need this is. The World Health Organization claims there are about 20 to 25 million people who need wheelchairs. At least that was the figure back when you started this effort. What is the real number?
Back when we started, they told us that it was 20 or 25 million people. We know today that the true number is in excess of 100 million people worldwide. We were told by the Prime Minister of India that they have over 100 million disabled people just in the country of India, but that's all forms of disability. We know that the census takers don't see these people who can't walk because they never come out of their homes. Because it's a sense of shame that they have this disability. Many cultures, there's a sense of shame. They think that they are cursed for having done something wrong in their life, et cetera, et cetera.
Tell people what you do. I mean, you don't just collect money and then send the wheelchairs. You actually go and deliver them.
Yes,
What has that been like, and why do you do that?
Well, we raise the money for the wheelchairs. We deliver a wheelchair that would sell for more than $500 in a medical supply store. But because we purchase them by entire 280 wheelchair containers and ship them from the factory to the country of destination, we can deliver that $500 wheelchair with every $150 donation we receive. That's delivered, cleared, and to the end user, which we estimate every wheelchair we deliver changes an average of 10 lives. The reason we do that is because children can go to school if they have a wheelchair. Adults can go to work and take care of their families. The elderly can get out of a bed they might have been for 5, 10, 15 years. I mean, I've physically lifted people out of a bed they hadn't been out of for 15 years.
My gosh.
And now the first thing they're going to do is go to church and pray for us so that we will be blessed to continue blessing others.
What do they tell you? What have you learned from the disabled through this and people with disabilities?
Well, probably the most touching thing is that they believe we're answering their prayers. And it doesn't get any better than that for me. But the fact that we are coming from another country just to be there, to come into their home, to give them mobility and change the life of not just them, but every member of their family in a positive way, that we're angels. We're their guardian angels coming from another country, coming to help them.
And who is giving? Who gives to support this effort? I know the Knights of Columbus are involved, the Rotarians. Who else? The general public?
General public. The Knights of Columbus are the largest driving force we have in the United States. Just this past weekend, we were up in Union City, California, where we do what we call Wheelchair Sunday. So we speak at every Mass, show a video, and then do a collection. So we raised approximately $30,000 this past weekend, and this is what we do every weekend that we're invited by the Knights Councils or by the pastors of these parishes around the United States.
So it really is a church-generating effort.
Very much so. It's a church-generating effort, but basically all we need to do is let the public know what we need and how easy it is to do. If anybody has had somebody within their family who's needed a wheelchair, they know they're very expensive. So when they see the quality of the wheelchair we deliver for only $150, first of all, they can't believe we can do it.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Yeah. And there's a science behind that. You got to be able to navigate the custom systems, and I have to fight hard. That's why I wear my St. Michael's medal, because I have to use that sword on very, very frequent occasions.
I was amazed. You all have gone to far-flung places, Afghanistan, India. Where else do you go? Where would you like to go that you haven't been able to penetrate yet?
Well, On a yearly basis, we are always in Vietnam, Philippines, Mexico, Haiti, Holy Land, United States, and many other Latin American countries. We've been to Papua New Guinea. We've been to some very remote developing countries. Africa is very difficult because the overland transportation is so corrupt and so difficult to navigate through. But there are many parts of the world where there are large communities of younger people who are physically disabled, such as Sierra Leone. They can't ever go to school. We give a wheelchair to a young Sierra Leone teenager. They're starting first grade at the age of 13. They've never been able to go before because their parents couldn't carry them to and from school.
You don't even think about all the fringe benefits, all the things that are closed to you because mobility's not there.
Absolutely. There's so many stories. There's a little girl in China. She was a 12-year-old girl that we gave a wheelchair to in Guangzhou, China. And there's always barriers because of the translation, but we had a translator that said she wanted to tell us something. And so we came over to her and she said that the gift of the wheelchair was like a beam of sunshine that warmed her heart. Oh. We're in tears.
Yeah, of course.
And just so many examples of people who have been able to better their lives because we gave them that simple mobility. And then we come back to these same places year after year as often as we can. So now they're working for government agencies to help other people get wheelchairs. And people who get mobility from us almost always want to give back and do whatever they can for those who weren't as fortunate.
To help others.
So I always tell people I feel like we're exposed to the best of humanity. Not only the people that want to donate the money to help others, but also the people who are receiving. And these people have nothing, but the common denominator is they love their families as much as we love ours. And when we bless them, they want to bless others.
They want to pay it forward. I love it. And so you basically operate outside of the United States. It's an external mission, not an internal one.
It is an internal one as well. Through the Knights of Columbus, we have delivered an average of 2,000 to 3,000 wheelchairs a year within the United States to veterans who do not qualify for VA benefits.
Oh my gosh.
There are many people who have never registered with the VA. They're homeless, whatever they are. They're people in need of wheelchairs, and if they have a positive step up in their life to be able to get from point A to point B with mobility, we supply it.
Tell me about the 39 years that you spent at your dad's side from the time you were a teenager, working on the MDA telethon. How did that inspire this work that has become such a part of your life?
Well, I think the telethon inspired most everything I'm doing nowadays. I can actually remember the pivotal moment in my mind in 1978 when I saw my dad dance on stage with a woman who had been basically cured of myasthenia gravis by the new plasmapheresis technique that was developed by MDA. And I said, this is what I really want to do. So when people say to me, well, why didn't you follow your dad in his footsteps? I said, I did. They're just the footsteps you didn't really see. And that's what led me to it.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Well, thank you for your great work, Chris.
Thank you.
You can learn more about Chris Lewis and support the work of the American Wheelchair Mission by visiting their website, amwheelchair, one word, amwheelchair.org. And by the way, our interview with Jerry Lewis is still one of the most watched videos of the year. You can find that on our YouTube page.